Okay. Hello, my Turn Lab family and friends. My name is Alvin. I want to welcome you into my very strange and esoteric world, the world of fly tying. I have not done this before in front of a crowd, except for once. I did tie for my daughter's show and tell class. A parent was supposed to come in and share something about their lives. So I did tie for her, and to my surprise, her then kindergarten classmates really enjoyed it. So, welcome to fly tying with Alvin. This is my outdoor bench. And see if, okay, that looks like it works. This is one of those things. I honestly don't know if tying a fly is going to take me 3 minutes or 10 minutes in this case. I don't know if you can see that. This is what we call parachute Adams. And I'm going to attempt to tie a parachute Adams for you, my friends, today. Live in front of a camera. Unedited, single take. I hope it works. Okay, I'm going to take out a size 16 hook. There, hook's much tinier, but it's not large by any stretch. Again, we're going to be tying a mayfly pattern. This is meant to fool a trout that's feeding on the surface. Bugs that get caught on that surface film, mayflies, they'll come up to sip, and that kind of represents a peak moment for people into fly fishing for trout. Okay. So I'm going to just wrap my thread around this hook, try to be mindful of creating a tapered body, a little bit thicker towards the head of the fly, a little bit thinner as it goes towards the tail end of the fly. Okay, we have a nice bit of thread there. Next, I need some tail material. Generally speaking, when we tie flies, we build from the back of the fly, the tail of the fly, and work towards the head as a general soft rule. That's not always the case. Apologies to our fine artists among us. I know there's a few of you out there for desecrating this paintbrush. That paintbrush was on its way out anyway, so I think I'm upcycling it by using those perfect bristles for a nice tail for this fly. Let me just cut those little stray ends off. I can clean and trim up at the end. Okay, not too bad to start. Okay, next we need to build a wing for our fly. This wing material is, I think, Antron or Xylon, a synthetic material that wicks water away. It will create kind of like a flag post for us, for the fly fisherman or woman, to see their fly more easily from 50 feet away. And it kind of mimics the wings of a mayfly resting on the surface film of the stream. Okay, I'll wrap that in there nicely. Traditionally, you'd be using calf tail. I don't have any calf tail on me today, but that's okay. Part of the spirit of fly tying is just using whatever is available as a substitute. I kind of think of it as maybe someone who's into baking. Let's say chocolate chip cookies. If you're first starting out, you might feel really tied and bound to an actual recipe. As you become more experienced, you start to come up with your own preferences, and you learn exactly how much leeway you might have with your ingredients and your ovens and tools and whatnot. Okay, so I'm using this thing I'm tying in right now. I forgot to tell you, this is hen hackle. It's specifically made for tying dry flies. These chickens are bred to have these really long, thin hackles with these very stiff barbules. Those barbules will kind of give us you'll see when I'm ready for that step. They'll give us a little bit of a leg-like effect to our fly, and because they're so stiff and light, they help this fly to ride on that surface film. It keeps the fly afloat. Okay, our taper is not the best looking, but we will make do. It's definitely going to be a fishable fly. This will fool a fish. Okay, now my thread is hanging off towards the tail of the hook, or the end of the hook there. I'm going to be using a little bit of this gray fuzzy material. This is actually made out of squirrel and hare's fur. It's almost like dryer lint. It's almost that exact gray, actually. But an Adams dry fly traditionally uses gray fuzz. What's nice about squirrel is it does have, again, this hydrophobic quality to it. It will wick water away, and in doing so, it will also help to keep this fly afloat. I'm just going to wrap that up the body. Get a little bit more of this lint. Kind of twist it onto my thread. And work that thread up towards the head and thorax of the fly. Y'all still with me? It's okay if you leave. I know it's not terribly exciting. I don't know how I got into this, you know. I'm a busy father of 3. I live in Southern California. We're not known for our rivers and streams here. But maybe because I love fly fishing so much, and because I don't have the chance to get out on the water as often as some, I've just really fallen in love with fly tying too. Kind of like the archetypical grandfather or grandmother whittling wood or knitting socks in the wintertime. I like to tie flies during my winter time. When the kids go down, the house is quiet, I might turn on some music or listen to a podcast or nothing at all and just tie, just kind of be in my little happy place. I'll show you, this is my winter's handiwork. See, most of those are all different types of mayflies and bugs and grasshoppers and caddisflies, most of which will never see the water, at least not by my hands. They seem to make nice gifts, and it's okay. It doesn't matter if they see the water or not. I just enjoy making them. So now I'm going to take this hackle that I was talking about earlier, and I'm going to kind of wrap it down the post or the wing of this fly. About 7 turns will do. And I'm going to give a couple wraps of my thread around the end of this hackle and trim off the excess. And I'm going to take this funny looking tool called the whip finisher. Just allows me to put some precise wraps and knots as I finish off this fly. Okay, snug up that thread, my knot's nice and secure. Just about done, folks. Let me just trim my wing, make it look a little bit nicer here. It doesn't look like much, but that, my friends, is an Adams parachute Adams dry fly. Not the prettiest, but you know what? It's gonna catch fish. Sometimes these bunged up, imperfect ones do a better job than a perfectly tied fly. So I want to thank you for joining me on my amateur hour, and welcome to my little sacred space. Thank you for your time.